the theme that has been announced, literary inquiries across cultures. And the second one is most importantly, is about the context. So I have been grappling with this notion of the context for which I don't get definitive answers. So I thought I'll share with you. You're all very experienced kind of teachers and then younger researchers. And so I thought that it'll be important to open up some kind of inquiry collaboratively we can explore further. We'll use this opportunity to inquire into the notions, the theme on the one hand and the question of context on the other. These are the two things that I'm going to talk about. Now, basically, briefly, very sort of, as I say, subject line of literary inquiries is that there are two kinds of literary inquiries. Many of you are familiar with them. One is a kind of literary inquiry that is conducted by the writer himself or herself. That is that when he or she is writing something, she or he inquires into what he does, what she does. That's one kind of inquiry. The other kind of inquiry, well-known one, is that we have available with us what are considered to be, what are canonized, what are described, what are institutionalized as literary works, and then we write about them. We discuss them. Quite often as teachers of English, I assume that all the members in the audience are English teachers, assume that. But any literature teacher, any teacher, whether you're teaching Sanskrit, Malayalam, Telugu, Bangla, Urdu, any of these, we are all exposed to this second kind of theme, which is we talk mostly about the literary works done by somebody, and then we inquire into them. That's our bread and butter as teachers. We don't teach literature, we teach literary criticism, we practice literary criticism often. Okay, that's what we do. This is the theme outline. But what I want to do is to actually situate this in the question of context, because between these two notions of literary inquiry, there's a humongous gap. And that gap is established a certain kind of asymmetry, not only in literary, we'll try to explore that. What I'll try to do is to share with you some kind of presentation, so that please let me know whether it is visible, and then so that we can proceed further. Give me 1 second, I'll just get... Okay, is it visible? Is my screen visible?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No, yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now it is correct.
Okay. Okay. What I mean by context is that, there is a context that brings us all together, as you all know. The context is the kind of pandemic, which makes us meet virtually by means of this kind of technology and gadgets. That's one kind of context. But there is another context that you're all familiar with. The context that we all belong to more or less the same tribe. That is the teachers of literature, irrespective of what language we deal with. Okay, so we all meet under certain kind of circumstances in some particular kind of context. The context is that of a particular kind of language and a particular kind of inquiry. And that's what we do. So a context is basically coming together of a group of people, if you like, a form and a certain kind of relationship. And it's always a certain kind of combination of a form as well as the way we receive that form. In a context, we're always caught in two kind of situation, two kind of position. One is a position of giving, and one is the position of the receiving. This is the kind of possibility of a particular kind of response. So when we go to the classroom as teachers, we take a text, and the text and the teaching, these become the events. They provide a certain kind of form. And the students are also the people whom we receive them. Yeah, the way we respond to the students and the way the students respond to us, all these are involved in the particular kind of context that we call, our particular situation. A context therefore involves response as well as reception. Response and reception, and implies responsibility. Okay. So in our context, those of us who are sitting here, and when we go back to the classroom, our situation is that we are teachers. Our context is made possible with teachers teaching, as well as the discourse called literature and the institution called the university or college. Okay, this is the context within which I'm speaking. I'm confining myself, but what we are likely to discuss is not confined to this particular context. So you will begin to see that. Okay, but these four cardinal issues are very important. A certain kind of forms, that is students and teachers, a certain kind of event called teaching or learning, and a certain kind of discourse within which we teach. We don't teach, let's say, architecture. We teach only what's called literature, and the institution which allows us to teach, that is called the university. Only in such an institution is possible. I can't go to the airport and start giving a lecture on literature. They would say that this is not the place. Now, quite often what happens in our areas is that context of production gains importance over context of reception. So we are caught in these two situations. We are teachers, but context of production gains importance over context of reception. That is to say, the teacher, the text that the teacher teaches, and the institution in which the teacher teaches, they begin to